Ikenga Uruagu, a former member of the indigenous people of Biafra, ipob, mocks Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa, suggesting their efforts for Biafra are futile and doomed to fail against the Nigerian government's overwhelming power. He uses the example of likely innocent Chukwuma of Innocent Motors, noting that despite being well-equipped, he couldn't defeat the Nigerian government, highlighting the futility of armed resistance. Ikenga Uruagu draws a metaphor comparing Nigeria to a human body, saying Biafra is like trying to cut off a limb from the body, but the body, which is Nigeria, will resist by all means, especially with violence. He criticizes those who believe Biafra can be achieved through armed struggle, questioning their logic and urging them to think like rational humans. He encourages Biafra agitators to join Nigerian politics instead, arguing that only by becoming part of the system can they effect meaningful change or even discuss separation. Ikenga Uruagu reflects on his own past involvement in violence and regrets it, admitting to mistakes and seeking forgiveness. He recounts a story involving a confrontation with a politician named Ahmed Goodluck, implying violence and regret over the incident. He describes an operation involving kidnapping and a failed command structure, ultimately portraying the Biafran armed struggle as disorganized and misguided. He directly calls out Nigeria's National Security Advisor, Major General Babagana Monguno, accusing him of corruption, theft, and incompetence, demanding his arrest and removal. He concludes by highlighting the worsening insecurity in Nigeria and the government's silence and inaction, suggesting the people are suffering without protection or leadership. This news story revolves around a man named Ikenga Uruagu. He is a former member of the indigenous people of Biafra, commonly known as ipob. This group has, for many years, been at the center of the campaign for the independence of Biafra, a region in southeastern Nigeria. The movement is based on a long history of perceived political, economic, and cultural marginalization of the Igbo people by the Nigerian government. ipob was founded by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who became its most visible and vocal leader. Another key figure who later emerged as a controversial force within the broader movement is Simon Ekpa. He is often associated with the more radical offshoot called the Biafran Liberation Army and has taken a more militant approach compared to other Biafran activists. Ikenga Uruagu, in a dramatic shift from his past stance, recently released a video where he strongly criticized both Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa. In this video, which has circulated widely on platforms like YouTube, he essentially mocked their continued struggle for Biafran independence. He began by expressing deep skepticism about the possibility of Biafra ever achieving independence through armed resistance or even political agitation outside the Nigerian system. Speaking in a tone that reflected both personal regret and hard-won wisdom, he urged these separatist leaders and their followers to reconsider their actions and abandon the idea of secession. Ikenga Uruagu started by pointing to the case of Innocent Chukwuma, the founder of Innocent Vehicle Manufacturing Company, which is the first indigenous automaker in Nigeria. Innocent Chukwuma is widely respected among Nigerians, especially among the Igbo people, as a symbol of local enterprise and industrial strength. According to Uruagu, if someone as resourceful and equipped as Innocent Chukwuma, with access to both locally manufactured and foreign weapons, could not stand against the Nigerian government, then how could Simon Ekpa or Nnamdi Kanu hope to defeat a federal power with such immense military and political strength. It was, in Uruagu's view, a losing battle from the start. He made a metaphorical comparison that was quite vivid. He likened Nigeria to a human body and Biafra to one of its limbs. In this analogy, he argued that trying to cut off a limb from a living body is something that the body will resist with all its might. The same, he said, applies to Nigeria. The central government would never allow a region to secede without a violent and overwhelming response. Uruagu warned that this resistance would not only be legal or political, but also physical, brutal, and uncompromising. This, he suggested, is something people like Simon Ekpa and Nnamdi Kanu either underestimate or entirely ignore. Throughout his statement, Ikenga Uruagu expressed frustration with the way some people continue to believe that Biafra can be achieved through violence. He challenged them to think more rationally, to behave like human beings who are capable of logic and foresight. He asked why they would continue to risk their lives in a futile battle. He emphasized that those who believe in the Biafran cause must be willing to change their strategy and adopt more constructive methods. One of the most controversial parts of his message was his advice to Biafran agitators to join Nigerian politics instead. He argued that if you truly want to change the system or even discuss the possibility of secession, you must first become a part of the system. Only by getting elected, gaining political influence, and being part of decision-making processes, he said, can real change happen. This suggestion reflects a broader frustration with the limitations of armed struggle and a belief that democratic processes, however flawed, offer a better path. Ikenga Uruagu did not shy away from speaking about his past. He admitted that he had once been involved in violent activities and now deeply regrets his actions. He told a disturbing story involving a confrontation with a politician named Ahmed Goodluck. The details were chilling. He spoke of being part of a patrol team that stopped Ahmed Goodluck. There was confusion, tension, and ultimately violence. At first, a man, presumably Ahmed Goodluck, did not comply with their commands, which led to gunfire. Ikenga described how his group mistakenly believed that Ahmed was resistant because something was protecting him. After some effort, one of his comrades shot the man again. It was only afterward that they realized who he was. The incident ended with not just the shooting, but also a series of violent retaliations, including the bombing of a police station. The story does not end there. He recounted how they later kidnapped a man who was simply a vendor selling animal feed. According to Uruagu, one of their members later released the man, which caused further conflict within their group. It was a clear picture of a disorganized and fragmented operation, lacking in command structure or coherent strategy. This, he implied, was what the Biafran armed struggle had become: chaotic, misguided, and ultimately counterproductive. His narrative shifted again toward a direct attack on Nigeria's national security advisor, Major General Babagana Monguno. Ikenga Uruagu accused Major General Babagana Monguno of gross corruption, incompetence, and neglect of duty. He claimed that this high-ranking official was stealing funds meant for national security and was indifferent to the plight of ordinary Nigerians. In fact, he dared Major General Babagana Monguno to arrest him, declaring that he was not afraid of the government or its agents. He said he feared only God. According to Uruagu, Major General Babagana Monguno was the worst national security advisor Nigeria had ever had, and his removal and prosecution were long overdue. In concluding his message, Ikenga Uruagu drew attention to the worsening security situation in Nigeria. He noted that despite numerous attacks, kidnappings and general chaos, the government remained largely silent and inactive. He lamented the suffering of the Nigerian people, who now live in fear and uncertainty, with no real leadership or protection. His voice, once one of aggression and rebellion, now carried a somber tone of reflection, disappointment, and a desperate plea for reason. His entire message was wrapped in personal experience and a sense of disillusionment. Here was a man who had once believed in the cause of Biafra so deeply that he was willing to kill for it. Now, he was begging others not to make the same mistakes. The ideological confusion, the lack of coordination, the internal betrayals, and most painfully, the bloodshed, all of these began to change him. He saw firsthand the lives that were lost not in battle, but in reckless, misguided operations. He saw innocent people hurt, not by the Nigerian military, but by those who claimed to be liberators. And in the face of such chaos, something inside him broke. His story about the politician named Ahmed Goodluck is particularly telling. While some might question the accuracy or even the identity of this individual, what is more important is the way Uruagu tells the story. He does not glorify the act. He does not justify it. Instead, he relives it with sorrow. He describes the tension, the miscommunication, the unnecessary escalation, and finally, the death of a man. That moment, it seems, was a turning point. A reminder that revolutions may start with ideals, but they often end in tragedies. The deeper symbolism of this incident cannot be ignored. Here was a man who once believed that violence could bring about freedom, now standing publicly to say that it only brought pain and disillusionment. And his regret is not abstract. It is tied to specific events, real people, real decisions. This kind of introspection is rare in a political climate where admitting past wrongs is often seen as weakness. But in doing so, Ikenga Uruagu demonstrates a kind of moral strength that few revolutionary figures ever reach. He does not stop at criticizing the movement he once supported. He also turns his ire toward the Nigerian state. His words about Major General Babagana Monguno, the National Security Advisor of Nigeria, are laced with anger, but also with a sense of urgency. He accuses this high-ranking official of corruption, of stealing funds meant for national security, and of contributing to the worsening crisis in the country. He dares him to arrest him, openly calling him the most useless security advisor in the history of Nigeria. These are not small claims. They strike at the very heart of the Nigerian government's legitimacy. Ikenga Uruagu is essentially saying that the system is broken from the top down. The people who are supposed to protect the nation are instead exploiting it. This, in his view, is why Nigeria continues to be plagued by insecurity. It is not simply because of separatists or terrorists or bandits. It is because the people entrusted with power have failed. His frustration is echoed in his closing statements. He speaks of a nation where people live in fear, where no one feels safe, where leadership has become a game of shadows. He talks about the silence from government officials in the face of deadly attacks. He mentions how even after 4 days of violence, no one in government has addressed the people. This silence, he suggests, is not just neglect, it is complicity. The deeper message Ikenga Uruagu sends, even beyond Biafra, is a call for a new kind of accountability. Whether you are a separatist fighting for a cause or a government official sworn to protect the Constitution, you must answer for your actions. You must be willing to admit failure, to change course, to put people before ego. His plea for activists like Ekpa and Nnamdi Kanu to join the political process rather than fight it may sound naive to some. After all, Nigeria's political system is deeply flawed, marred by corruption, nepotism, and voter apathy. But what Uruagu is really saying is that the system, however imperfect, still offers more hope than war. He believes that entering politics, getting elected, influencing laws, and holding power within the constitutional framework is a more sustainable path to justice than trying to tear down the state through violence. Let us not assume that Ikenga Uruagu's change of heart will be accepted easily. There are many within the Biafran movement who will call him a traitor, a coward, or even a government agent. That is the price of speaking against the tide. But what he offers is something greater than defiance. He offers a roadmap for redemption, for healing, and for a different kind of revolution, one that uses ballots instead of bullets.
Okay, Genchi. Afambo Ikenga Uruagu. And Ifen Joessica made this voice over bo to educate some of you. Kankuzielo some of you ifona amaho. Unu na-anya na video anu onye akwadocha dịka onye amị. Ọ bụrụ onye amị. Ọ innocent Ọjị Biafra. Ọ ndị che na a ga-enwetanwu Biafra through ọgụ na mgba. But today, where is innocent Ọjị? Kedu ihe nchọrọ ka ịmụta n'ihe a? Achọrọ m ka ịmụta na o nwero ụdịrị equipment ị ga-enwe today si na ịka innocent Ọjị wee nwee equipment. Yet, innocent Ọjị defeat Nigerian government. Ọ bụ na ị nene innocent Ọjị ọfụma, ị ga-ama that he's better equipped. Ị ga-afụ the kind of locally manufactured weapons and foreign weapons innocent Ọjị na-ebu. But yet, the federal government of Nigeria TPL, innocent Ọjị TPL ndị ochie. Agwago m unu before siono, no after God, then obro government. You can't win Nigerian government. Or there possible for you to be inside Nigeria and defeat Nigeria. And onwego lawyer bịa na this platform bịa kọwala wee sị anyị na Nigeria dịka it's a kind of body. Imagine someone's body. You decide that you want to cut off the hand, or you want to cut off the leg, or even the head. Do you think the owner of that body, you are watching Ibupuaka, then a part of the body, unto is separate well from Nigeria then? Nigeria, according to the lawyer who hosts now this platform, while I know a whole body, so this body will always want to protect itself against the actual part of the body. So, oburo something again with force or with violence, because in a violent way, these people they better equipped and they have the power to carry out anything they want to, because they are the government. So, actually, can go on the Amaro, because some of you are Amaro Nemwego people, Potagol before gentle, Ndano Anocha before gentle, and some other people, you may think they are equipped, but yet, why will you risk your life? Why will you continue to risk your life thinking you can restore Biafra with violence? Why can't you think? Why can't you reason like a human being? Oboni Choki Solu take the control of Nigeria. Join politics. You join all politics, you make your campaign and get yourself elected. Then you solo among the decision makers. Oburo inolebeno in our church to scatter Nigeria. How am I watching you get to scatter it? Because Nigeria no ka body. Ibia ki ibupu aka from the body. The owner of the body will not let you do that.
Ndawo mama ekelekwe m no. Ko ye chine ya zere. Biko enwe one short video shika mmetugode ka m no fu. Ebe m no nya wawo mama Uruagu. Biko ne. Umejike ukwu. Since 4 days now, biko ndemba enwe ihe agbanwejigo m anya nsi ka m bịa anọ m n'ụlọ nsi ka m bịa ka m jụọ m bịa ka m confirm ma wee eziokwu onye m nọ m bịa wu Davitus nọ ga-amata Davitus na-agba aja na-anya tipa ọ na-supply ndị mmadụ aja ọ wụ onye nọ m bịa ihe wo ụzọ tipi ya na-abụ and ihe akwane compound ya ka m nọ adịda ya enwedị nsogbu ihe anyị nwetaga n'ụzọ na oche ọrụ ala alụge ndị amị agba egbe nga ebe m gosiga nnu wee egbe agbara agba otu deda ya wụ onye nwụrụ anwụ ihe mba ịgwakwa na deda ya wụdịkwa bandit ọ wụdịkwa onye oshi ọ wụdịkwa kidnapper ọ na-emegide dịkwa mmadụ anụbedo m lekwa onye ha na ya abụọ kojiri na awọ mma o shikwa ọrụ ala alụge lekwa ebe ha gbara egbe mgba atụdede m emedụkwa ịkpọ ha na Vitus na awọ mma Uruagu emedo onye na-amado onye ọwụ ọ dịkwa bandit ọ dịkwa onye oshi ọ na-emegide dịkwa mmadụ gọọmenti agbagbuo ya nye nche ịgba gọọmenti onye ha gburu inye ahụ dịkwa onye ọjọọ ọ dịkwa onye oshi ọ dịkwa kidnapper ọ dịkwa bandit ndị Igbo onye gburu inye ahụ dịkwa bandit echile na ọgụma na ọwụ onye oshi na ọwụ onye ọjọọ na ha nweta ndị bandit na awọ mma onye gburu inye ahụ dịkwa onye ọjọọ elele m anya since how many days nobody speak emedụkwa onye kwuru ụka ndị awọ mma anyị nwesara onye ndị ezigbo mmadụ ama m yes na ọwụ ụjọ tụga nnu ga-atụgide ụjọ ka eruo ole mgbe egbujichi ụmụnne anyị biko onye m na onye ewu mbe Davitus na awọ mma Uruagu umejike ukwu ihe na compound ya nye ewu ule nwoke mmadụ tawara afụfụ ọrụ chabedikwe finish chabedikwe ya ha bịa wepụ ndị ya gọọmenti biko emedikwa onye dede anyị mere ọ wụsachikwara ụmụaka ọ dịkwa onye ọjọọ ọ dịkwa bandit and obodo nnu na-abịa nye enwetụkwa kampụ ndị ọjọọ nọ na awọ mma nnụma ndị nụ chọtara nna aga fesi ndị ahụ andị na-echiwara awọ mma aba ute na-egbuchi ụmụnne m biko ni ndị awọ mma tige na ihe ọnụ
I want to say what I have been saying over time. Mr. President, remove, arrest, prosecute Major General Ali Munguno, your national security advisor. He is corrupt, he is clueless, he don't have the interests of Nigeria and Nigerians at heart. And that Munguno is a hypocrite. If he is the NSC and he think he have available power within him, let him arrest me. He is corrupt, he's a thief, is a problem to the security of this country. If people are afraid, I'm not afraid, I'm only afraid of God. Because Munguno is only busy stealing the monies meant to protect us. That is it. And the better for you, Mr. President, remove Major General Munguno. Is the most useless NSA ever produced in the history of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Because I discovered there is no road. I discovered there's no road. I'm begging for forgiveness. The death of Ahmed Goodluck, one of the top politicians, well-meaning Nigerian politician. So we are on the patrol team. So they asked me to stop. I was surprised. I just blocked the man with a spider. Then he said the man should go down. The man do as if he doesn't well. Let him get the man not go down. Then Johnny, shoot. He didn't enter. So Onyami. Now he said it's like something is in his body. Now he not take away that thing and shot that man. And later we now discover it is Ahmed. Good luck. Then at the same time, we have already we now go back and burn Abombise police station and the Obo Etiti and the Ayazu police station. That's over the prison. Now we come for that one, but not be only under command level, but just all the whole entire Southeast under entire Southeast command, both Enugu, Bakileke. So that's joint operation that day. So after that, we now go and kidnap that man where they sell feed for Ikenga Uruagu side. Yeah, after we kidnapped the man, so one of our members went and lose the man to go. And we now let her go back again. Command and go back, because what he does is that if we are not serious to do something, he will not go his own reinforcement by himself. Make sure that he meet up his own target. Then he now went back again. So after exchanging gun bullets, because he don't even know the man, so he now killed 2 people there, hoping that it was the man. But now I have now realized my mistake.
This is the end of our news update. Please click the icon on the top right corner of your screen to watch my next video. You will enjoy it. I will see you again in my next update. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye for now.